Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Dave Woodard here, the man from back east, the man who solved Forrest Fenn's treasure hunt, $3 million treasure hunt, and never got the glory from it. I call it the greatest story never told. And the reason why, when I found the treasure chest location, I sent Forrest Fenn a picture, and ultimately a couple months later, he had Shiloh Old, his grandson, go and check on the treasure. Shiloh Old stole the treasure chest, then created a fraudulent ending with Jack Stoof and multiple people involved. This is a tremendously horrible crime that's been committed to me and to Forrest Fenn. And Forrest Fenn was ultimately murdered over this treasure hunt scandal by Shiloh Old. And the family covered it up. And all of the evidence has been shown to the public. But the sad part is, Forrest Fenn's treasure hunt revolved around Superman, the greatest superhero of all time. It revolved around a dedication to a grave marker that was Forrest Fenn's secret inside of his books. man that has found Forrest Fenn's real, true secret. And I've given that out to the public also. And it's an amazing thing. It's a beautiful treasure hunt and dedications to superheroes that's been shut down. And the government and the New Mexico Santa Fe Police Department have all covered up these crimes for this family. They just don't want the information out there. So I've tried for 5 years to have the family honor Forrest Fenn, their grandfather, for what he actually created. And they refuse to do it. I've asked the Santa Fe Police Department to honor Forrest Fenn and what he created. And they refuse to do anything about it. They refuse to open up the situation where he was murdered. The case, they ruled it natural causes, and it was not natural cause. It was actual murder by his grandson. And there were a lot of people involved with covering that up. But then it led up to more fraud of the treasure chest items. The treasure chest was sold illegally through heritage auctions, while there were still lawsuits going forward with ownership of that treasure chest. So there was a lot of foul play by a lot of different people, entities in New Mexico, and I'm just giving out the information. That's all. I'm a messenger of Forrest Fenn because I'm the guy that solved it. I'm the man from back east that he acknowledged under a canopy of stars and the lush forested vegetation. A man from back east that solved his poem precisely. And that's what I did, folks. It's an amazing, amazing creation. And my investigator is going to get this information out. I know she's a great investigator, but I'm looking for heroes to step up to fight for justice for Forrest Fenn and for myself. A lot of people are mad at me because I've stood up to a crime that was committed against me. I don't understand why they wouldn't want to help me expose this, because the government is involved. The actual government of the United States Department of Justice in New Mexico has stepped in to protect Jack Stoof from never having to admit where he found the treasure, because he never found it. So there's a lot of people that have stepped in from the government, from the Attorney General's office, from the governor's office, all to protect the Santa Fe Police Department for being fooled about an investigation of Forrest Fenn at his death, at the time of death. Now, I've already sent a lot of information to the Santa Fe Police Department that would show them cause to reopen Forrest Fenn's investigation into his murder. But they don't. The vloggers, the reason I put my videos out, folks, is to let the vloggers know that they've committed crimes. They believe that they're protecting Forrest Fenn's integrity, and they're not. They're actually hiding that Forrest Fenn was murdered by his family. By doing what the vloggers are doing and thinking that they're backing the family for Forrest Fenn's wishes, they're not. They're actually covering up the murder and crime of Shiloh Old stealing that treasure chest and then coming up with a fake location up in Wyoming and having Jack Stoof step forward after Forrest Fenn passed away, hence murdered by Shiloh Old, to protect the fraudulent Wyoming document and to protect the theft of the treasure chest, and then passing it out like candy to the vloggers to help protect Forrest Fenn's legacy. Well, they're not. They're protecting the murder. I'm protecting Forrest Fenn's legacy. And I've asked these vloggers over the years to join with me to honor Forrest Fenn and what he created about something so heroic and amazing about superheroes and dedications. And if they have not seen that, with my last few videos with actual evidence, folks, of the secret that Forrest Fenn created to dedicate his own grave marker to that homely girl epitaph that he read in Vietnam that burned in his brain. He honored that French soldier, and now it's my turn to honor Forrest Fenn the same way by honoring that French soldier. So I've already done that. I've given out the information of what Forrest Fenn created. An amazing dedication to lost and forgotten soldiers and superheroes and war heroes and doctors that saved his life and teachers. Everybody that is this everyday superhero. This treasure hunt was the greatest treasure hunt in treasure hunt history. And it all got washed away by crimes of theft and deception. So I've asked the family to honor Forrest Fenn. They won't. I've asked the government agencies in New Mexico to honor what Forrest Fenn created, and they will not stand up for Forrest Fenn and me. They protect the family in fraud and murder. And that's a terrible thing. But the thing that blows my mind the most, folks, is I've reached out to the public to defend what Forrest Fenn created, but nobody's interested. So my investigator and I know the truth. We see the marvel gaze that Forrest Fenn created. And it is marvelous, folks. It's a pretty amazing thing, but you have to open up your mind to be able to accept it and understand what the marvel gaze is in Forrest Fenn's treasure hunt, inside of his stories, what he actually created about the treasures inside, the secret superheroes that he placed inside of his stories for us to find. And you know, just so everybody knows, at the end of the treasure hunt, when I located the grave marker, even though I started digging, found a clue that I thought led somewhere else, whatever it ended up, the outcome of the whole treasure hunt, yes, I made mistakes and I had brain damage. But there was no reason for them to screw me over the way they did when Shiloh Old stole that treasure chest. And then everybody else jumped on board on the bandwagon, collecting gold coins, getting paid chase cards, and all these other things that they were getting paid. 160 employees in Chase Underground, folks. 160 checks going out for people to protect what Forrest Fenn created. And they weren't. They were protecting the fraud and the murder of Forrest Fenn. So the vloggers need to understand that. The reason I've done my videos is so that the people that have read Forrest Fenn's books will understand what he made. You understand the character of the man of Forrest Fenn. And my character has been called into play because these people have discredited me and made the whole treasure hunt look like everybody's just crazy that comes forward if they're not Jack Stoof without a solution and without a solve. And there's nothing up in Wyoming for this, but they pushed it in the Golden Greed. So if you watch my Beyond Golden Greed videos, some of them are taken down. I will eventually have them all played somewhere for the Beyond Golden Greed treasure hunt, explanations for what really happened and how these people played the public and who they pulled in to help protect fraud and murder. And it's a shame. It is a real shame of what happened to Forrest Fenn and what happened to me. So I'm publicly coming forward to let people know what the truth was. Whether they want to accept it, that's up to them. I'm not begging people to help me expose a crime that's been committed against me and against Forrest Fenn. I'm done. I'm done begging people to help honor something amazing that was created. If you're interested in it, please join my team. If you're not, thank you for looking. Thank you for watching. And I hope you at least give the thumbs up because my honor is at stake for exposing this. And my investigator knows that my credibility. She's investigated like I've asked people to do. And she knows she's going to get this information out to the public. And we are going to change history. And it will cause a great deal of stress on New Mexico and probably Wyoming, because Wyoming joined in on protecting a fake location that nobody wants to go to instead of the beautiful creation that Forrest Fenn had for his treasure hunt ending with Clark Kent, Superman, the greatest superhero of all time. It's not who you are, it's who they think you are. Your secret identity. And that's what this treasure hunt was created about. The dedication to the lost and forgotten soldiers and all different kinds of superheroes that Forrest Fenn loved. He loved his comic books, and I want to dedicate this new Superman movie that's coming out July 11th, 2025. I want to dedicate this movie to Forrest Fenn, and so does my investigator. So we've already sent information. Hopefully it reaches the right people to have Forrest Fenn honored when this Superman movie comes out. Because this is the Superman that Forrest Fenn grew up with, reading in his comic books, that he loved so much. So to honor Forrest Fenn would be the greatest thing that could happen in this treasure hunt. And people need to realize that the two new treasure hunts, there's treasures inside JCB and Justin Posey's Beyond the Map's Edge, they're both fraudulent treasure hunts. I'm willing to let them go through, but the dragon bracelet in Justin Posey's is mine. And the JCB Forrest Fenn treasure box, that one's mine. And we'll decide about the comic books and all of the other pieces out of the treasure chest that were sold illegally through heritage auctions. It's a terrible, terrible crime that they've just blocked, and the government's let them do it. They have let them make me the fall guy in this treasure hunt ending. And I'm not the fall guy, folks. I'm the guy that solved it. And I'm the guy that solved the crimes that went hidden from the public, behind everybody's backs, from the family, from the vloggers, from the government, from the Santa Fe Police Department, and so many others that got involved just for greed, golden greed. That's a terrible thing. But I don't want to shut down those treasure hunts. I want people to enjoy them. But there's some reparations that need to come out of those treasure hunts, because people are making money off of those books. Kyle Lazar's and K-Pro have pushed this fraudulent ending along with all the other vloggers. And some of them know right now that they've already committed crimes. And they're starting to come forward to put the right questions out there to push people to understand, hey, we need to call out Shiloh Old and his family and the Santa Fe Police Department and the Santa Fe government for protecting a crime of fraud and murder. Theft by deception, folks. And I have all the evidence. It all went to my investigator, who will put a package together that's going to end any confusion about this. She's already written a letter that I will be posting very shortly from an investigator, an actual investigator with credibility, because nobody else stands up for me. Whatever reason, my family's mad at me, if they are, or they want me to end this because they see me in pain for trying to get this information out. But the way for me to get this information out is by having my team support me and spread the word. If you believe that I'm the guy that solved this treasure hunt, which I am, I'm the man from back east, Forrest Fenn announced. When you look into the evidence, you will see, and if you've looked into the Marvel gaze, you will see even further what an amazing treasure hunt Forrest Fenn created for a child to solve. And I'm just a big kid. And so was Forrest Fenn. He loved his comic books. He told us he went to Borders and he would go to the children's section but not hang out long because he wanted to check out the comic books. The man was 80 years old and still loved comic books. And he had an extensive collection that was sold at heritage auctions for $28 million. And a bunch of the other comic books didn't even make it to that. If they brought all of them, it would have sent up red flags all over the place. But they brought in just enough to make $28 million off of my comic books that Forrest Fenn had for me in the solution to the thrill of the chase. Superman 1.61. That was the thrill of the chase scene. That was the way to solve the treasure hunt. Looking for Superman, looking for Lois and Clark. That's the way he changed it. He gave us hints. He gave us notes. He gave us lessons. He gave us an education from Stan Lee. All of it's there if you listened good into his treasure hunt. And it's phenomenal. It's amazing. And I want the world to understand what really happened. Whether people are going to back me or not, fine. That's fine. It's up to people if they want to join in to fight a scandal the size of this thing is so big, folks. And there's so many people that are involved. And I feel bad. I'm taking a lot of people down. But they have to realize there was something more incredible that Forrest Fenn created in this treasure hunt than just somebody stealing it and everybody sharing my treasure and exploiting the legacy of Forrest Fenn. I'm not going to let it happen. It was about Superman, and it was about dedication to lost and forgotten soldiers. The secret of Forrest Fenn is exposed. So I hope this gets through to the vloggers, and somebody steps up as an actual hero to defend what Forrest Fenn created. And as far as the Fenn-Barré coming up, I hope they have the Fenn-Barré. I really do, but I hope they understand. You have to honor Forrest Fenn, not the crimes that have gone on with the family, Shiloh Old, and the hiding of the murder of Forrest Fenn. That was disgraceful. It was disgusting, and they got away with murder. They got away with murdering Forrest Fenn. So if you want to honor Forrest Fenn and a Fenn-Barré, do it with his comic books and what he really created in this treasure hunt. Otherwise, stay away from the Fenn-Barré, because it's all disgusting what it's turned into with these vloggers that go there that have been paid to protect the crimes. It's a ugly thing since Shiloh Old has destroyed everything that Forrest Fenn made. So me asking for 5 years for these vloggers and the family to finally honor Forrest Fenn, and they still won't. They really are, unless they've come forward to the FBI. And I tell you folks to go to the FBI, because every entity in New Mexico has been covering the fraud. So it goes nowhere for 5 years. They're waiting for the statute of limitations to end so that they can get away with nobody being able to sue the estate. Well, I'm not worried about my civil case. I tried to take them to court. I made my stand. I stood up for my rights, even though they told me right from the start when they hacked me, I will never have legal representation. And I didn't, folks. I couldn't get legal representation because the Santa Fe Police Department ruled Forrest Fenn's murder as a natural causes. And that right there, folks, is disgusting of a law enforcement agency hiding a cover-up of murder when I've already sent them the evidence that Forrest Fenn was murdered. Absolutely. And I'm the motive. And so is the Wyoming document that Zoe Old and Kyle Summer and Shiloh Old forged to put into court. And 14 days later, Forrest Fenn was murdered over it. He was going to tell the truth. And it shows that in the other videos. It shows that in the Netflix Golden Greed. Cynthia Meacham said Forrest Fenn was going to tell us everything. He was excited about it. It was all about comic books, folks. It was a beautiful, beautiful, amazing creation that was blocked by Shiloh Old, all the vloggers, his family, and the New Mexico government. So don't let this don't let this just like go away. It needs to be known to the public of what Forrest Fenn actually created and what I solved. An amazing creation of a treasure hunt that that I went into Forrest Fenn's head and I solved this treasure hunt. And it's pretty brilliant. So I want to thank everybody that supports me, gives me the thumbs up, and try to honor Forrest Fenn and myself, because we're the guys. We're the two kids at heart that got screwed over in this treasure hunt. So keep your eye open for JCB treasure hunt, though. Treasures inside. I'm not trying to shut it down, but the government may shut it down because of what's happened behind it. And Justin Posey's, it should be shut down, but I haven't pushed that issue yet. The government may shut that down because the stolen items inside of Justin Posey's treasure chest are mine. So, folks, I hope you have a great day. This is Dave Woodard signing off for quite a while. I need a break. If people aren't going to back what's right and justice, then I can't force people to do the right thing, to step up and help the victims in the biggest crime in treasure hunt history. I've already reached out to Josh Gates. I've reached out to everybody, and nobody wants to help Forrest Fenn. They all want to just shut this thing down because of how ugly it turned out. My goal, when I found that treasure chest, when I actually was going to dig it up, I was already collecting 22 pounds of silver to replace it with and not give out this location. That was my intent. But because of it was stolen from Forrest Fenn and I had to give out the location. And all the people that jumped on the bandwagon to protect this crime, I had to expose this crime. There was no reason for me to have to expose where Forrest Fenn hid his treasure until the crime committed. Then I had to expose it. And Jack Stoof has been a fraud since the beginning. That's why he ran for the hills. So Justin Posey stepped up to continue the treasure hunt beyond the map's edge. Nice thought, but it's all based on fraud and crimes. So people have to understand that. So I'm not the bad guy here. I'm the guy that got screwed over $3 million, and I'm the guy that was smart enough to know how to solve that crime to expose it to the public. So you folks should be excited about what Forrest Fenn created and honor him and at least give me the kudos of what I accomplished in this treasure hunt. And when you look at it, you'll see it. My investigator sees it. It's a beautiful thing, folks. Thank you very much again. Have a great day. Take care of yourselves.
I mean, they were talking about the same shit that we heard for the last, fucking 15 years? It's the same crap, same shit. Yeah. They didn't do nothing new. All they tried to put is a face of Justin Posey on there. And in my opinion, we will get to that in one of the episodes because I'm supposed to be getting evidence. Justin Posey's search was never at 9 Mile Hole. He never did crap. He maybe went there 1 or 2 times from what I understand, but this is my opinion. Wait till I get the evidence. If I get the evidence and everything, I'll share it with everybody next Sunday live. So we're going to try to go live every Sunday, but we're going to keep this show kind of short. Okay, let's move to, what do you want to move to now? JCB? Real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, so JCB, he has disappeared, everybody. Not too many people are hearing from him. I get a few emails here and there from him. They're very vague. His team has kind of literally not been paying attention to people. That's been kind of bad. He's kind of, I really, here's my philosophy right now. Okay? And don't get me wrong, the Forrest Fenn chase, I've seen a lot of stuff. I had fun doing the Forrest Fenn chase. It was a great adventure, but how it ended was bullshit. And how it continues to go on is bullshit with all the fake narratives on every channel. And then how these people are controlling the narratives.
Might be welcome waters or that might be physically warm, just very basic stuff like that.
So Cynthia, we've already been asked, what does your shirt say? Because all they can see is the really, really, really part.
Loves K-Pro is what bottom says.
Wyoming. Which we all know is where.
I wish you weren't a liar.
Okay.
Is what bottom says.
Wyoming. Which we We all know it is wearing.
I wish you weren't a liar.
Okay. All right. So Cynthia, for you.
Forrest Fenn created something remarkable, and it should be honored. A superhero treasure hunt, unlike anything the world has ever seen.